be both of these opinions, both Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer would say that when it's outside the temple, there's no effect on it, and it's impossible that it would become pigul, and it should be permissible to be eaten. None of this is applicable if it's outside the temple. So how are we arguing about this? Are they arguing if there is pigul or not? He says, well, the answer is, it's talking about when they brought them back in. So what's the machlokes? Rabbi Eliezer holds like Rabbi. He says that it got sanctified by the shechita, and therefore, when you take it out, something that was sanctified as a sacrifice becomes pasul. He brought it outside the temple. So
bringing it back in
doesn't help. Rabbi Kiva, he holds that it does help. Why? He holds that it doesn't become sanctified by the shechita. When does it become sanctified? By the zrika. So it never became invalid because it wasn't a sacrifice yet. Now, the question is, when did it become sanctified as a sacrifice? So we know it left, but was it sanctified as a sacrifice before it left or after? And if it was after, then it would still be valid. Gemara says, "Hi, mai." Well, hold it 1 second. If we say that Rabbi Akiva holds like Rabbi, which we're not saying that, we're saying Rabbi Akiva holds like Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon. Rabbi Akiva says that it becomes pigul, and he holds like Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon that only by the zrika does it become sanctified. So we say, if Rabbi Akiva would hold like Rabbi that it becomes sanctified by the shechita, that it becomes sanctified by the shechita, that's what Rabbi Akiva means. It became sanctified by the shechita. V'asa zrika kavalu bepigul. And comes along the zrika, and which was done for the wrong intention, and makes it pigul. However, Eliyamrit Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon tzvirale, damar zvicha leimakadsha. It wasn't sanctified yet. When does it become sanctified? Only by the zrika. And how was the zrika done? Zrika's pigul mi makadsha. The zrika was done invalid. Would the zrika of pigul sanctify the breads?
So how come by Shavuos it's like sanctified when they shake it, you know?
Oh, tenufa, the waving of it.
Right.
Yeah, it's ignoring that was a question that we had. Does the tenufa sanctify? That was a question. What does Rabbi Yochanan hold about that? We're just going with the opinion that the shechita is, with what Rabbi Yochanan stated. You're right. That would adjust things here. That would adjust it? That would make a zakuk. I don't know if it makes it sanctified. I'm not sure about that. It's interesting. The problem is, if the sprinkling is done invalid, with the thoughts of out of the allotted time, it won't bring it to Me'ila, and it won't take it out of Me'ila. Me'ila is when you have personal benefit from things that are sanctified. What would the two cases be? It won't make the Kachim Kalim Me'ila by sanctifying him. And it won't take it out of Me'ila by the flesh of Kachim, which was Me'ila until the Zrika. So in other words, the sprinkling of pigul, the sprinkling of the blood with the wrong intentions of out of the lot of time is not effective. So how could you say that Rabbi Akiva would hold like Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon, and that's why it becomes pigul? It doesn't become anything. It says, did we not upschlag? Did we not reject Rav Gidl Amarav? And we say that the sprinkling of pigul does sanctify it. So therefore, we're left with Rav Papa's question on Rav Sheshus, and we don't really have a source for the question of Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak, that can the breads be eaten or not, if the blood was sprinkled on the sacrifice for a different sacrifice. Okay. Rabbi Yomi asks Reb Zera a question. Kivsei atzeres sheshachtan lishman va'ovad halechem.
But you lost the breads?
They lost the breads. They were slaughtered. Everything was done correctly. But the breads got lost. And what do? You have a problem over here. That the breads, once the shechita is done, then without the breads, the sacrifice would become invalid. We only have one way out. The one way out is to sacrifice it for intention of a different sacrifice.
Yeah, get some new bread.
Yeah, but I can't use new bread for these animals. I would need new animals because they become like one unit. They need like a new partner. That's what we learned yesterday. So the question is, can we get this loophole to slaughter them as regular shlamim, not for shvuas shlamim? Then they don't need the breads, and then you'll be able to eat them. Otherwise, they're just going to be, it's going to be a waste.
It was already shechted.
Yeah, but we're going to sprinkle the blood. We're going to sprinkle the blood for the wrong intention. Right.
After they shechted it, someone realized, hey, where are the breads?
I thought the whole thing is the tension. No?
Right. So, but we have a way out. If we sprinkle the blood for the different intention, we'll be able to turn the sacrifice into a different sacrifice.
It doesn't make it. So you're saying it doesn't make it a different intention for
shechita?
shechita?
I think that
No,
it always goes after the worst, right?
No, it depends on whose opinion you hold. What is the deciding factor? Is the shechita the deciding factor, or is the the deciding factor? So if the shechita is the
what
deciding
sanctifies
factor,
the bread?
then you shechted it. Now it's too late. You lost the bread, so you got to start all over.
Right.
But if the zrika is the deciding factor, so you shechted it. Now someone realizes, hey, where are the breads? So someone can sprinkle it for the wrong intention, and now at least you can have second best.
Right.
Water?
We must be going here.
You want a bottle of water? Yeah?
We must be going here according to the opinion that the shechita is what does it. We must be going according to Rabbi.
No, the shechita is what does it, but he can't sprinkle it for the wrong reasons. It makes no difference now. The shechita is already done. It's already sanctified.
No.
Did you shake lulav esrog?
We're concerned
Did you
that
shake
we lost the
lulav
bread.
esrog?
You lost the bread. We know you lost the bread.
Oh, even according to Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, you needed the breads. We said Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon holds like Rabbi Yochanan that you need the breads there by the shechita. I was thinking that if it's a Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, so get new breads, eat into the shechita. No, but you need the breads there, so it could be either way.
To shake, let him shake, but no, with me.
Okay. So Amalei, Reb Zera responds to Reb Yirmiyah, Yesh l'cha davar she'ena kasher l'shmai, v'kasher shalai l'shmai. If it's invalid if you do it correctly, it's going to become valid if you do it incorrectly. Is there such a thing?
So why is it not so? If it's valid when it's correctly, why not to continue in this correct step, or walk, or do, or leave? We are exact here in our. Excuse me, when I'm making this connection. He told me if I shaked, I said to him to think and to understand is infinite higher, and I'm saying it again, infinite higher than to believe. When you believe, you are in a little bit light and surrounded by infinite choshech. But when you begin to understand, then you are beginning to enlighten the place and to enlighten the
Very
world.
nice.
Beautiful, thank you very much.
Very nice. Gemara asks though, V'loi? Do we not have examples?
He's talking to the video camera, he's not talking to you.
Do we not have examples of cases that if they're done incorrectly it becomes valid? Varei Pesach, Kaidem Chatzos. If you take a Paschal sacrifice and you bring it before the afternoon on the 14th of Nisan, bring it too early.
In this context is another word when you allow me to say, you see, I speak German, and in German they have a speech which you see a woman, you said she have hair on her teeth. It means she will be a little bit more offensive in her way she's talking. But now my question is, I'm talking now Jewish, and in this context is, how is it when you grow hair, not on your beard, but here in the palm of your hand? Because this is all what it is about.
You know
And
what,
this-
I'm going to take you in because I was having a discussion about this. I was having a discussion about this very concept with a friend of mine upstairs. Can we go up and I'm going to show you him?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
If you don't trick me. No, you know why I'm saying it. If you don't trick me, if you don't think you disturb here, so I'll take him away.
No, God forbid.
So slicha, if I disturbed anyone.
No.
So, the Korban Pesach, before Chatzos, it's valid. It's invalid if you bring it for the right intention. However, v'kasher shleil l'shmai, but if you bring it as a shlamim, then it becomes valid. The Gemara says, "Hachi kamin alach." Let me say it differently. Yesh l'cha davar shenir l'shmai v'nidcha l'shmai. Do you have anything that was actually valid, but then it got rejected from being correct? Ve'ena kasher l'shmai, and now that it's rejected, if you bring it the way it's meant to be, it's going to be invalid. V'kasher shleil l'shmai, and it's going to be valid if you do it incorrectly. The Gemara says, "V'loi." 1 second, I have the same problem. I have the same retort. Or a Pesach acher zmanei, Korban Pesach after Pesach, or after the time, the afternoon. B'shaya Ma'aseh Shana, any other day of the year. It had a time that it was kosher. The time came and went, and now it's been rejected from being a Pesach. But if I bring it as a shlamim, it's perfectly fine. So I can bring it. So that's what we're asking. Can you bring this sacrifice, these two offerings, today on Shavuos as a regular shlamim without the bread, and it would be fine? So hachi kamin alach. Yeshcha davar shenir l'shmai v'nishchat l'shmai. Aha. Do you have anything that was slaughtered for the right intention, and then it becomes invalid? Ve'ena kosher l'shmai v'kosher shalei l'shmai, and it won't be kosher if it's brought correctly, but it will be kosher if it's brought incorrectly. Gemara says v'loi. Is it not so? Very taida. We have a Korban taida. It says that if the bread breaks on the taida, so after the shechita, we said that it was a problem, and he has to bring another one, right? Remember that yesterday? After the shechita, nifras lachma. You had all these cases. After the shechita, the bread breaks, so you sprinkle the blood, and you eat the meat, but you weren't yaitza. How do you sprinkle the blood? You sprinkle the blood not as a taida, you sprinkle the blood as a shlamim. That means that you're allowed to avoid getting messed up with the breads by changing it to a different sacrifice. A taida always had that loophole inherent in it, because the taida calls it a shlamim. So the taida is like the shlamim that could be used as a taida or a shlamim. So it was already in the category of a shlamim, so you could slaughter it for a shlamim, and then even though the breads were not valid, the sacrifice would still be valid. Okay, let's leave it over here. Shekaya. What do you say? Do you think it's easier